What is going to back again with another video? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Jomboy's realignment and his new format. Because personally, after watching this video, it's kind of the best format I've seen on the internet so far. So he did upload a YouTube video about this as well. So if you guys want to watch the full video, make sure you guys go check it out on his YouTube channel. But let's go over this format because it's pretty interesting. So basically what he did is he realigned everything basically. So he split the whole league up into 4 divisions of 8 teams, and he did add 2 new expansion teams, which was Salt Lake and Nashville. It doesn't really matter what city it is, honestly, but those are the just 2 he's added because those are the most hyped up right now. But basically, he split the leagues down the middle, made an American League with 16 teams, made a National League with 16 teams, and split the divisions. These divisions are pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. I think they make sense. He really just drew a line down the, down like the middle of the league and kind of made the divisions that way. So basically the whole AL East is pretty much the same, plus the White Sox, Tigers, and Guardians. And the Twins and Royals slide into that AL West from the Central, and then that new team being the Salt Lake team is also going to be on there. So it's basically the AL East and the AL West plus the AL Central basically added to those divisions. And the new expansion team, that's pretty much how we did the American League. In the National League, pretty much the same thing. He pretty much just broke up that Central division up. So the NL West, it's the whole 5 teams in the NL West plus the Cardinals, Brewers, and Cubs. And then in the NL East, same thing. He had the Pirates and Reds and then added the Nashville expansion team. So that is his National League and American League. I think he did a pretty good job separating this, honestly, keeping a lot of the teams in their current divisions and then just adding the teams in the Central. I thought was pretty good, keeping some of the rivalries as well. With some of the teams, I think is pretty good. So I thought he did a pretty good job doing these whole divisions. The next thing he talked about was the schedule format. Now this I think is a game changer. I really think if they did this, it might fix a lot of the problems that the league is having right now at least. The schedule is all over the place. It's extremely hard to follow. I totally agree with him. It needs to be changed. Basically, what he did is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everyone's going to be playing, right? Everyone across the league is going to be playing. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the American League is going to play their games. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the National League is going to play their games. So as you can see, the National League would get Mondays off and the American League would get Thursdays off. And then every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they would play games. I think this would make it a lot fairer as well. And also you could have interleague squad games played on that weekend, which I think makes it more structured. It kind of reminds me of the Australian Baseball League. If you guys don't know what they do, they run, I think, like 12 or 11 weeks or whatever of baseball, and they play a 3-game series every week. So it's kind of like football. You'll go ahead and play, I don't know, like the Packers or something this week. Next week, you'll play the Eagles, for example, right? Kind of like that, but you play a 3-game series. So I think the way they do it in the Australian Baseball League is amazing. That's kind of what this reminded me of right here. Let's say if you're in the American League, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're playing a division opponent, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're playing an inter-squad opponent or something like that. You can make it more structured. So, this weekend we could promote all about interleague play, and then during the weeks, it could be all division matchups or in between division matchups between the East and West or something like that. You can really spice it up and make it pretty interesting, except letting the computer do it and kind of mess everything up. I mean, you could look at 2026 opening days. The matchups are kind of insane, in my opinion. So I think the schedule is great. In this scenario, he had 156 game season, so he did cut off a couple games, but I think that's fine. I think for this schedule it would be phenomenal to have that instead of more games with the way they do it now. I think 162 is pretty long for most people, I'm not gonna lie, and for the players, so I think this would be absolutely phenomenal. And then he goes into the playoff structure, and I really like this playoff structure. When I was watching this video, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but when he explained it a lot more, I was a big fan of it. So basically, how you make the playoffs, we're gonna focus on the American League. It would be the same in the National League, but basically what he wanted to do is have a first half winner pretty much to the start of the season to the All-Star break. Whoever wins the division that wins the first half makes the playoffs. And if you guys don't know, this is done in all leagues across the world and in the minor leagues. This is mainly done in the minor leagues as well, so they could bring this up to the league. And I think it'd be cool having like a pennant race in June. I think that would be phenomenal, right? And then basically the second half winner would be from the All-Star break all the way to the end of the season would be the second half winner. And then say you didn't win the first or second half, but you still had a good record and you were the top 2, then you would still make the postseason. Say the Blue Jays won the first half and the second half in the AL East, then it'd just be the next best 3 teams would just step up for the playoff spot. I think it'd be cool, especially having a postseason race in June. And I think the format he had for the postseason and the seeding makes it really worth it to keep winning. Because say I win the first half, you can theoretically just tank and be horrible, but your seeding is very punished with this new postseason format that he did go with. You could have the 2 first half winners win and just be horrible and be the 7th, 8th seed, you know what I mean? They could still be horrible. And then how he did the 1 through 8 seeding is just based on record, right? So even though they won the first and second half, that is all based on record. So I definitely like it. I think it's a very solid postseason structure. 8 teams. I feel like they're eventually going to have 8 teams in the postseason just compared to all the other sports leagues. About half of the teams make it in all the other sports leagues, so I imagine they're going to go to 8 at some point, to be honest. I think the seeding is done really well. Even though you win the first half and make the playoffs, you really want to get good seeding, because you're about to see in just a little minute why that's so important. So that's the playoff structure. I was a big fan of this playoff structure. So here's the playoff structure. We're going to go over this. So he added another round in the elimination series, and I think this is phenomenal. You see this in other sports as well with these one-game playoffs. I was really disappointed they took it away after the wild card game. So the elimination series is going to be back, and it's a one-game playoff, which I absolutely love. It's the 8th seed playing the 5th seed and the 7th seed playing the 6th seed. So that's why seeding is so important, because you could have a phenomenal season, win that first half, and just lose the rest and still be in this elimination series. So obviously the 5th and 6th seed will be home. One-game playoff. Boom, you win that, you move on to the next round in the wild card series. Now, he did go with a 2-game series here, which if you guys don't know how this works, basically, that means the team that won the elimination series, so say the 6th team won that elimination series, they would have to beat the 3 seed twice to move on to the next round, where the 3 seed would just have to beat them once. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I personally like to see a 3-game series here, in my opinion. I think the 3-game series would work better. I would like to if you went 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, in my opinion, just with the rounds, because it is a lot of baseball to be played. I would personally like the 3-game series here, kind of like they do now with the current wild card series. But he wanted to go with the 2. I like the 3 a lot better. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about that in the comment section down below. Basically, the 3 and 4 teams would be home for these games, and the team in the elimination series would win. Then the winner would go on to the division series and face the 1 and 2 seeds. So you kind of see this gauntlet bracket of why seeding is so important, because you could be that number 1 seed and just be waiting for about a couple of days until you have to play, which is definitely a big advantage, I feel like, for your pitching and getting everyone reset. And obviously hosting some practices and getting some scrimmages and all that stuff, and then you play that playoff series. I would like to see a 5-game series here. I like the way they do it now. I think if it went 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, like I said earlier, will be perfect. I get the 7-game series because you do want more money and more revenue and all that stuff for the team, so I definitely understand why they would want to argue that. But I would like it if it was a 5-game series. Once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. So the winner of the wildcard series would face the division series teams that are currently waiting. Those teams would obviously have majority of the home games, and then it pretty much plays off like a normal postseason. I personally love this structure with the first and second half winners, with the best overall teams getting in. I think this format would make it very interesting. Then kind of the format we had during the 2020 season, where it was just, 8 teams in, normal kind of single elimination bracket. I think this heavily plays into that seeding role, and you could definitely see a team go on like a run from that elimination series all the way through. I think that would be a great storyline to have. And then you could also get a storyline of maybe a team that got a bye not performing as well, right? You're definitely going to have that with some of the wildcard teams and division series that got buys. I think this format is just phenomenal. I would just love to see this implemented into the league. But definitely let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below about Jomboy's format. I personally love it. I think a couple of tweaks and changes I would make to it, but besides for that, I think he absolutely killed it with the realignment, with the playoff structure, and with the season schedule as well. I think he did an incredible job. But let me know in the comment section down below, what's your kind of thoughts about this whole playoff series with these new formats, expansion teams, and the new realignment. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.